I could probably tell you that I'd imagine it's 20% was spontaneous out of, yeah, probably somewhere between 10 and 20% is spontaneous. I mean, it's pretty much the film that I imagined within 5 minutes of what could I do with this production. It felt like a sort of happy marriage that you could, Aladdin, you know, street kid, everyone knows that I'm familiar in that department. And it just felt like, you know, they thought, and I thought, that we could find something that was exciting and fresh within the Bollywood slash princess slash traditional musical that would hopefully give it something that, you know, audiences weren't necessarily anticipating, at the same time being respectful enough of the original piece.
How difficult is it to film something light-hearted, like a musical? So what are the challenges when you film something which is supposed to look so sort of light-hearted on screen, and so you know, you just, you know, come and watch it and have fun and just don't think into details?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot happens between the chemistry between the director and the actors. And if that chemistry is positive, then what happens is you can't help but we've got the lines, and then we'll play with the lines. So you can tweak lines, you can put new words in, but it's really creating a sense of play and spontaneity between the director and the cast. And that's something that, you know, happens when you choose the actors, right? Hopefully you're choosing people that you're going to get on with.
When it comes to, for example, like gangsters movies versus Disney musical, right? So, for example, what's more challenging to film? Something like fighting scenes in Sherlock or Bollywood dance routine in the Aladdin?
Yeah, I mean, I suspect that they're both challenging, right? Because you've got to try and create something that doesn't feel like it's tired. So any sequence that involves a deluge of stimulation is going to need some degree of ingenuity, and that's a creative challenge. Well, I'm not sure if one challenge trumps the other. I mean, challenges are just challenges, I think, in that department.
What did you like the most?
Honestly, it's probably silly character, nuances and charm. That's probably ultimately what I like the most. It's the subtle stuff.
If you had to, if you had an opportunity, and if you were approached by the Disney bosses or, you know, big studio bosses to create another movie for kids, and if you had an opportunity to cherry pick the actors, would you go for someone like Jason Statham or I don't know, David Beckham? And if you did, what characters would they play?
Well, that's a very broad question, right? So it's going to be very hard to give you a definitive answer on that one, because I don't know which department I'll be going into. So I can only deal with one project at a time. So, you know, having just finished this one, not quite sure where I'll go with the, I'll have to know what movie we're making.
If it was a fairy tale.
You're not helping.
Right. If it was, well, I don't know.
You're asking me where I'm going to put
yeah,
Jason Statham
yeah.
and David Beckham.
Would you? Yes. Would you use them?
This is an itch I cannot scratch, I'm afraid.
Right. Have your kids went to have your kids been to watch the movie at all? Did they go to watch the movie?
Yeah, I mean, my kids have seen this film more than I've seen it. I mean, they're essentially my yardstick for. I mean, it's curious, right? Because you show it to adults and you show it to kids, and there's a different response.
Right.
So. No, they've watched it all the way through. The great thing about kids is it's funny how many times they can watch a movie. So yeah, they've seen it a lot.
What was their reaction like? What was their review?
Well, fortunately, it's positive. I mean, arguably, the principal reason I made this movie was because I've got 5 kids, and what ends up happening is all the movies that you watch are it's family entertainment. So it's inevitable that I ended up in or being interested in this particular department because that's my life. That's my life experience now. So my principal agenda was to make my family happy. If my family were happy, I was pretty confident that, you know, other families would be. By the way, I'm still learning it now. I mean, I'm not sure if there is anything else to learn in life. I think it's the principal lesson of every individual. And I suppose that's why you could say that Aladdin's a parable in that sense. That's the fundamental challenge of mankind is for him trying to feel satiated and satisfied with his own identity. Well, the genie character was I suppose the fundamental challenge was how to create a genie that wasn't treading on the toes, smoky toes, of Robin Williams, yet was still an animated enough and realised enough character. That was the principal challenge. But there's a reason we chose Will, and that I felt as though Will had the requisite DNA to express and animate a new genie that was still respectful of the old genie.
And the last question, why did you want to film a movie for kids? Because this is something very, very different. You were, filming it for the first time. So why were you interested in a project like that?
For the principal reason that my life is a lot of kids. So inevitably, I end up watching a lot of family entertainment, a lot of Disney. I have a 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
She's up to her eyeballs in Disney. So it's inevitable that I would be attracted to this particular department. And I was a fan of the first Aladdin anyway. So there was an inherent and natural marriage there where Aladdin was a street boy, which is a department I'm familiar with. And there was enough of an exotic component, be it the Bollywood dancing, traditional musical, Disney princess aspect, that gave me enough of something new to do and to be familiar with the past.